Well, what we've got right here is Skeeter the Duck, and this is a very long overdue video with a little bit of Q&A about Skeeter the Duck, right, Skeeter? Yes, bark. Skeeter is a female. Skeeter is a khaki Campbell, and she's a purebred as far as I know. She came from a farm in Texas. I don't remember the name of the farm. She was actually bought from a website called Eggbid, which is long since defunct. They had a story, some kind of falling out between the owners or something, and one of them disappeared, the one that operated the servers, but the servers continued to run, and the other guy couldn't get in touch with him, and the site just ran until it died. And the odd thing was, it was like the server was locked up, but they couldn't use it. But anyway, that was Eggbid, and that's where Skeeter came from. A friend of mine ordered 20 ducks for his pond, and his pond was kind of small, but he had a piece of property with a pond on it. So he figured it'd be kind of cool to have some ducks. So he ordered 20 ducks, and he was told by the farmer that chances are when they shipped them that some of them were going to die and not survive. But upon arrival, there wasn't 20 in the box, there was 21, and they were all happy, healthy, little peeping ducks. Peep, peep, peep. Right, Skeeter? Yeah, you still peep to this day. You still peep. But I picked her out because of her unique head tilt, as you can see. The woman that I was dating at the time, her mommy, the one that we actually call her mommy, is the what helped me to encourage picking her out. And Skeeter got her name because she had a brother named Scooter. Right, Skeeter? Well, her brother, unfortunately, is long since gone. In fact, so are all of her brothers and sisters. But I brought home another duck at the time named Jumper. And Jumper and Skeeter, people couldn't tell them apart, especially when she held her head straight. But there was two things that were really obvious. Well, actually, three things that were really obvious that made Skeeter Skeeter. One was the head tilt, which if she held it straight, you'd never know. Two was her colors. She had this very beautiful pattern in her feathers here, with this light and dark. It's like a pied color, kind of like cockatiels have that pattern too sometimes. Her tail also points up in the air. You see that? That's unique to her. Her sisters, brothers, they all had more of a tail that was more level. In fact, her sister that I had, Jumper, her tail actually, it was sloped downwards. It was rather crooked. So I brought Skeeter home and her sister, and I put them in a bird cage. It was a big bird cage for like a parrot, and of course they didn't climb any of the perches or anything, but they lived inside of there as they grew until they graduated from the cage, and they moved to the bathroom, where I kept them in the bathtub as they continued to grow, until they got big enough that I could start letting them out and play. And they played in the yard, and they swam in the pool. And Skeeter here is perfectly healthy. She's 16 years old now. That was back in 2002 when I got her. That's right. You were born on what we're approximating to be St. Patrick's Day. It might be a plus or minus a day, but we're going to call it St. Patrick's Day because Easter was exactly 2 weeks after that. And that's when I first got to meet her, was on the Monday after Easter in 2002. So she was about 15 days old at about that time. So she had done some considerable growing, but not as much growing as she could have done had she have been kept in the house and fed what I was feeding her. When she came home, she immediately had a taste for, and you're going to love this, Walmart deli chicken. The fried chicken from the deli and the steak, I guess they call them steak potatoes, or those big French fries, steak cut fries. She loves them. Right, Skeeter? Want some French fries? Want them? Yeah, you want it? Get it. Get them. Get him. She's remarkably intelligent for a duck, and you know, everybody thinks that their pets or their kids are smarter than anybody else's, but this one truly is unique. And of the people that have gotten to meet her, including duck farmers or other duck owners, they have said the same thing, that this one is really special. She's just very different, docile, sweet, calm, likes to be with people. She's very sociable. Yes, very sociable. Just likes to be around people, likes to share whatever I'm eating. And in fact, if I walk into the kitchen right now and I crinkle a bag to something, like a bag of Doritos, she'll go nuts. She'll have to have whatever it is that I'm eating. If I hit the buttons on the microwave or if I open up the refrigerator door, she goes ballistic. And I'm shooting this video right now after 10 o'clock at night, and this is Skeeter's snuggle time. And if I don't put Skeeter in my lap after, let's say, 9, 10 o'clock, she starts honking a lot. Just starts screaming her head off. And once I hold her, she relaxes and goes to sleep. Right, Skeeter? Yeah. Now, at 16 years old, she is getting a little older. She is showing some age. I don't know if you can see it, but there's white feathers all down the sides of her head. That's right, I've got the white too. We're aging together. Yep. I'm not quite 112 yet like you, but we're getting there. She's due for a molt. She's actually starting to lose feathers right now, and they're going everywhere in the house, which is typical this time of season. I try to let them go out and play in the pool as much as they can. It helps them to drop their feathers in the water instead of in the house, and that makes a huge difference. I'm surprised Boomer's being as quiet as he is. He's behind the camera right now, just kind of standing there staring at us. He's not as friendly as Skeeter is. If I had him here in my lap, he'd be climbing all over the place and pecking me in the face and biting me and humping on me. And he's very different than Skeeter is, just very different. Oh, the subject of her head tilt. That's right, she was born that way. She doesn't have a defect. Somebody told me that it was a possibility that she grew too fast in her shell and she kind of twisted around a little bit inside of there, and that's just the way she came out. One of her eyes is remarkably higher up than the other. Her left eye, I don't know if you can get a good look at it, but it's actually kind of on the top of her head, whereas her right eye is in a normal position. That left eye is also really big. It's much bigger than it should be, and even when she was a baby, it looked like she was staring at you, but if you waved your hand over her, she had little to no reaction, and she's still that way now. She doesn't really know you're there. Perfectly healthy otherwise, and I think that whatever gave her that unusual head tilt is also what gave her her remarkable personality. She really is somebody special. Her little beak is shrinking on the bottom. Her jaw is actually pulling in, which is giving her that overbite. She never used to have that. That's something that started to happen about 4 or 5 years ago. If she were in the wild, she'd be dead by now because she has trouble eating. So when I put her in front of the food, so she'll peck at it for an hour or two sometimes, just because she has such difficulty getting into the get it into her mouth and actually swallow it. And she'll just start mashing at it until eventually she eats it. And I know she's eating because her crop fills up. And how's the other way you know that a duck's been eaten? They poop. They poop a whole lot. And this one is no different, right, Poopy? Yeah, you're a good girl. Yes, you're a good girl. Well, as she's getting older, she's also exhibiting some arthritis. She's got swollen joints in one of her legs. And I don't know if you can get a good look at her from here, but you'll see this one leg is kind of twisted inwards a little bit. And I think that has to do with her head being tipped, and she has a tendency to make right turns, which causes her right foot to twist left as she steps around it. And, well, if it hasn't caused the problem, it certainly hasn't done anything to make it any better. And, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know, I roughed you up a little bit. You don't like that. That's okay. We're not going to do that to you no more. Show them wings. There they are. Ow, that actually hurt. As she's getting older, her bill is shrinking and her head is leaning over a little more. I think it's just because she's getting a little older and a little more lazy. That's just what happens to all of us. Right, Skeeter? You wearing out a little bit? Yeah. We're hoping you're going to make it a long time. It's my understanding that ducks only live about 2 to 3 years in the wild, and this one being 16 years old is something special. Because even on the farms, the duck farmers that sell these khaki Campbell ducks say they'll live 7 to 10 years. This is 16. It's almost double the average life expectancy that they were talking about. And she's still with us. And I would say with how healthy she is and how few real problems that she has, she'll probably make it to 20. And I'm really hoping to see that. Just after 10 years, I was counting the days. I was really wondering when I was going to lose this little girl, and she's still with me. Oh, you give a kiss? Thank you. Yes, you're all fluffy and puffy. Her wings are also kind of inside out. If this happened to her when she was just starting to get her feathers, this would be a condition called angel wing, which is where the feathers develop and the muscles and the bone structure in the wings don't develop fast enough as the feathers. And these feathers have a tendency to fall over to the outside of her body, which is why they look like her wing is tucked inside out. But that actually happened to her after a molt about 5 years ago. She molted and her feathers grew back in, and they never grew in straight. I always try to push them back into position, but she always settles them back the other way around. As long as she's healthy and it doesn't seem to hurt her, I don't care. Right? Right? Oh, the wings. You shake the wings. She knows what yum yums is. You know yum yum? She knows what get the buggy means. Get the buggy. Get that buggy. Get him. Get the buggy. Get the buggy. Get the buggy. Get him. Get the buggy. Get that buggy. She has this thing for eating giant cockroaches, and when I first moved into this house, I didn't realize that Pensacola was just infested with giant palmetto bugs. They're just everywhere here, and they're in the wild. They're just outside, and they find their ways into the house through the cracks and things around your doors and your windows. If you have a hole in your screen, they'll find their way in through there. Or if you just walk in through the door, they might fly into the house, or they might stick on your clothes and you don't know it, but they get in the house. But when she was younger, she used to chase them around. But the first time I had put her in the garage when this house was empty, when I first moved here, I put her on the floor, and I told her, get the buggy. And I don't know how she knew it. I really don't know how she knew it, but she got excited and started pecking around for whatever she could find, but there was no bugs on the ground. But if I turned that light out in that garage and waited about 30 seconds, and I don't know how these things do it, and I don't know where they're hiding. There was nothing in the garage for them to hide behind, but these bugs would just appear out of nowhere. And she would just go ballistic, chasing them around until they all disappeared. They would just vanish. And there wouldn't be a single bug left in the room, so I turn the light back out again. I say, get the buggy. And she'll start going, back, 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 back. And then I turn the light on, and she'll go right after him again and just go crazy. Right, Skeeter? You like your buggies? She doesn't really like other animals. No animals at all, not even other ducks. Boomer, she hated from the time that I brought that duckling home. She hated him. Now she's kind of tolerating him, but he's a big stupid oaf. He likes to step on her. The other day she was laying down in the corner of the box, and he actually stepped on top of her to get out of the box. He used her like a step stool, and she was not having that. She'll just scream and yell and squawk at him. I mean, just squawk at him like she's being killed. And I come running in the room, and she's like looking at him, and he hasn't done anything. And she makes the same noise when he does do something, so she likes to set him up. Yeah, you like to be an instigator and make trouble. Don't tell me no. Yes, you do. That arthritis that was detected was actually found by a veterinarian about 3 years ago. We didn't know that there was going to be, or at least I didn't know there was going to be a problem until she acted like she was egg-bound. She stopped laying eggs about 3 years ago. I think we got about half a dozen out of her about 3 years ago. Being 16, she's as the veterinarian put it, she's used up. All of her little eggs that are in her ovaries that she was born with are all pushed out. She's got nothing left to lay. And she had for probably about the first 10 years of her life laid at least one egg every day. And then she started to slow down until she was about 13, where she only made about 6 eggs that year. Right, Skeeter? So you're not laying any eggs anymore. But her favorite foods are very easily French fries. She loves French fries. She just loves pizza. And if it's a pizza with an unflavored crust, so if I go to a really nice pizzeria and bring home a good pizza, she'll eat it, but she doesn't prefer it. But if I go out and get some fast food pizza, one of the big fast food pizza places like Hungry Howie's with a flavored crust, if it's got a garlic butter crust on it, she will destroy it. I mean, she will just destroy that pizza. And she could easily eat about a half a pizza herself. She could do about 4 slices. And that's remarkable coming from an animal that weighs 2.5 pounds. She also likes her fried chicken strips. We go to Foosackly's, or if you have a Cane's Chicken or Zaxby's, you might be familiar with that. The way they serve them chicken strips, and she will eat every single one of those. She really doesn't have a preference or a flavor. In fact, I will go to Walmart also, and I'll buy a bag full of frozen chicken, pre-cooked tenders, just that same way with the breading on it, and I'll microwave them and give her some of them once in a while. Now, all these wonderful little things that I give her are not her primary food. She will eat duck food primarily, and duck food comes in pellets, and it's many different kinds of grains added to it. It's fortified with a bunch of different vitamins and minerals, and I believe it's sweetened with molasses, which is what makes it interesting for them to taste. And if they get it wet, and they do, they splash the water into the food, and they throw their food into the water, that sugar begins to ferment almost immediately, and it stinks the house up, so I gotta change their food rather frequently. So one thing that ducks do is make their food and water bowls very, very dirty. She does live in the house. Primarily, she's in the house. For about the first six years of her moving outside, I kept her in a dog kennel. It's about 4 feet high, which is much higher than what they needed, and it was 7 feet by 7 feet. I still have it to this day. I used to keep her and 3 other ducks in there. It was her sister and 2 pecans that I had. Unfortunate thing about pecans is they usually die of leg problems, and that's exactly what happened to my 2 pecans. Different situations of both of them, but both eventually it wound up their legs that took them out. Her sister, unfortunately, something happened to. We believe she was probably poisoned by a lunatic. Happened to be one of our YouTube fans. Without getting too much into details, it was a bad situation where she pretty much said, "I'm going to get you and everything that you love," and one day the animals got sick. Skeeter and Jumper were both very, very sick, and Jumper unfortunately died. Skeeter almost didn't make it. And her poop was coming out, it looked like toothpaste. And when I took her to the vet was, highly concerned that she had liver damage, and about 3 days later, she overcame whatever was wrong with her, and she got back to eating, but she wasn't eating a lot, and I think it was probably the little PTSD situation because she had lost her sister. Both of us are pretty messed up over that. But when she was the only duck left, she moved inside immediately. And being that I was all that she had left, she took to me right away. She began to follow me around the house. She began to follow me to bed. She began to follow me into the office. When I would sit on the computer and do work, she would sit down beside me. She began to follow me to work. She'd follow me out into the garage, and I would open the back door and let her go out to eat and splash in the pool in the morning. By the time I get done brushing my teeth, taking my shower, and getting ready to go to work, I'd find that she not only came back into the garage, but she's waiting by the driver's side door of the car. And there's no reason for her to go there except for the fact that I'm going to get in that car and I'm going to take her with me. And that's what she would do. She would go to work, and she went to work with me for probably a good 6-7 years. She went everywhere with me. And then Boomer came along. And once I had Boomer, I started leaving her home more and more frequently because now she had companion, which she really doesn't like. So I do find myself separating them more often than not. Right, Skeeter? Yeah? You're a good, healthy little bird. Yes, you are. And one of the things that's truly unique and very special about this animal, and it's something that we figured out together, and I still don't know how I got her to do it, but she poops on command. She will actually poop on command. Right, Skeeter? You want to go poopy for Daddy? I got your blanket out. You can poop on the blanket here. See, I got a towel. Whenever I have her out, I always have a towel just because there might be an accident. And if you have a duck, or, well, any bird, you're going to get pooped on. You're going to get pooped on. So you want to poop for the camera? Let's see if we can do this. Let's give it a shot. Go ahead. Show everybody how you poop. Go ahead, poopies. Make poopies. Make poopies. Make poopy. I feel you pushing. I feel you pushing. Come on, do poopies. Do poop. Come on, poopy poopy. Do poop. I feel you pushing, but there's not one coming out. That's not like you. You always make poop. You always make poop when I tell you. You go poopy? Come on, poop. Poop for daddy. You gonna make poopies? No. I heard a little squish. I think you farted. Okay, we'll put you down. And she didn't poop before I picked her up either. And that's the way I stop her from pooping on me is I get her to poop first when I pick her up, and then I put her in my lap. And if I keep her calm and she goes to sleep and relaxes, sometimes she'll be good for a good 3 or 4 hours before she poops again. But if she gets excited for some reason, though, she'll poop repeatedly. Every couple minutes to poop. That's just something about ducks. Constantly pooping, right? You a poop maker? I can't believe you didn't poop for me on camera. You did it in the other videos. Yeah, you did. You did it in all the other videos. Maybe you didn't eat enough tonight, huh? You need a little more water? Your beak is a little crusty. It tells me that your water was empty. Yeah, before I cleaned your bowl out, it was all pasty with all your food stuck to the sides of it. You just need some more water. That'll make you poop, won't it? Anyway, if you have questions for Skeeter the Duck, please go ahead and post the questions on this video. Give us a thumbs up. Please subscribe to this video. And let Skeeter know who you are. Thank you very much for watching this video. It's been a long one, and I hope that answers some of the questions, the who and what Skeeter is and what she means to me. I truly do love this little bird, and she really is special. So thank you very much for watching. Say bye. Say bye, Skeeter.